Alright, so hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be ranking the Hunter Legendaries that have ever been printed in Hearthstone. Let's jump into it. Alright, so first up we got the Marsh Queen, the quest that was released to Journey to Ungoro, the first Hunter quest. The quest reads, play 7 1-cost minions and your reward is Queen Carnessa. She has a battle cry, she's a 5-mana 8/8, of shuffle 15 raptors into your deck. These raptors are 3/2 beasts that battle cry draw a card. This is an F tier. It's arguably the worst quest in the game. Hunter never really goes for that value stuff, even with stuff like Helmmaster Shaw or Tundra Rhino. They just never see play, and it's more of a meme. Now you can do a thing where you either Bram Bronzebeard or you Elec to shuffle 30 of them into your deck, and then you'll play Elise, get the map, and then make them all random legendaries. So you can do like a random Hunter legendary thing. But it's very bad. I would not recommend crafting it, obviously, or ever playing it unless you're looking for spicy memes. Next we have Unseal the Vault, the Hunter quest that came out with Saviors of Uldum. Quest reads, summon 20 minions and your reward is the Pharaoh's War Mask, which used to be called, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, the like Ramekin's Roar or something. That would also give your minions 2 attack. They did the same thing, it was just, I don't know why they decided to change it. Anyway, this is a B tier. Yeah, no, it is nice, just for when you get like Unleash the Hounds, or when you're playing like Zixor Prime, because then you can just play that, and then use the hero power. However, you never really use this quest in Wild, simply because you have DeathStalker Rexxar. If you're ever going for one that you would play quest, DeathStalker Rexxar's hero power is just always better. Alright, so next up we have Ace Hunter Crean. One of the more overhyped legendaries. I think it's great in Standard, but in Wild, I'll put it in C because I like it. The issue is, especially in Wild right now, you're never looking for that value. Crean will always feel bad to play, with the exception of you play him with the intent of him just soaking up 4 damage, but there are much better choices for that. Now, the effect itself is actually really cool if you're in a value matchup, but especially in Wild, you're never really, like, Big Shaman is the one meta thing that I can think of where this is really good. I guess also Libram Paladin, you could also play Ace Hunter Crean and you'd be happy with it. But other than that, he's just mediocre, as we'll see later on. Alright, so we got the lad Dreadscale next. He is a 3-mana 4/2 that reads, at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all other minions. This will also put in C tier. Now, why we put it in C tier is because when you get it off DeathStalker Rexxar's hero power, and you can combine it with one of the many poisonous beasts, this becomes a board clear as a must kill. And sometimes you can't kill it because you got the stealth poisonous guy. So you basically just have the board 100% of the time pretty much. However, you can't play any minions, you can still use your charge beasts or your spells to reach over to hit the enemy hero. Alright, so again from Scholomance Academy, we have Professor Slate, who simply reads, your spells are poisonous. We'll put him in D tier. He could potentially see play in like a very few minion hunter. Not no minion, because obviously he would be there, but he's just not that good. Like, if Hunter gets more spells, like 1-cost spells or spells that damage the whole board, or maybe they buff him into like any minion summoned by spells are poisonous, that would make this guy really good, just from what I think. Alright, Shondo Wildclaw. a Hunter and Druid Legendary that reads choose one, give all beasts in your deck one of one, or transform into a copy of a friendly beast. This is also pretty decent. We're going to put it in B tier. We're going to put it ahead of Unsealable, though. In Wild, this can see play in Knuckles Hunter, or just an aggressive Beast Hunter that also utilizes things like Master's Call. And for that, giving all minions in your deck, or not all minions, but all beasts rather, one of one is actually really great. So as long as you get it out early, you could actually compare this to getting like Raza out on 5, honestly. If you get Shondo out on 3, you're in a great spot for the rest of the game. Alright. So for our last 3 cost Hunter Legendary, God, Hunter's got a lot of them. We have Zixor Prime, or not Zixor Prime, but Zixor Apex Predator. He has Rush and Death Rattle. Shuffle Zixor Prime into your deck. This is an absolute A tier minion. I would almost put him in S, but I'm kind of reserving S for like the really, really strong ones. Now, Zixor, he's just strong. He's not like broken or anything though. He is an auto-include in just about every single Hunter deck. So there's that, but he just doesn't make S. Alright, so now starting into our 4 costs, we have Professor Putrid Side. A 5/4 minion who reads, after you play a secret, add a random Hunter secret into the battlefield. This guy, I feel like, has a similar feeling to Slate. Can we put him ahead of him? Thank you. Now, the thing is, it's really niche and is really only a one-turn thing. You can play 3 Hunter secrets and you fill up instead of them, and they're random. But Hunter secrets are no mage secrets. They're still useful, but mage obviously has the best secrets. He's not too good, not too bad. If you want any value, you have to wait out till 6 to play him, or you can get like Cloaked Huntress out on 4, and then play him on 4, but then you also have to have 2 secrets to get a good amount of value out of him. So he's just pretty mediocre. Alright, next up from the Witchwood, we have Hound Master Shaw. Your other minions have Rush. This is great. This is easily a B. I wouldn't say it's better than Shondo, but it's definitely a great effect. Giving all other minions that you summon Rush is really good. Plus he's a 3/6, so there's a good chance if you play him on a clear board that your opponent is not going to be able to clear this. This can see play in Death Rattle Hunter. You might be able to squeeze it into a Reno Hunter. I personally don't put him in mine, but he could definitely see play there. Alright, so we have our last 4 cost legendaries for Hunters with Descent of Dragons, Dragonbane. After you use your hero power, this deals 5 damage to a random enemy, and it's also a mech, which a lot of people forget about. This is definitely A tier. It's just about an auto-include again in every Hunter deck. It's not particularly broken, but it is very strong. Again, that's what more A tier is, in my opinion. This sees play, you could put it in Reno Hunter, again, though I don't personally like to do that. But this sees great play in Even Hunter, where you can sometimes, for 8 mana, get off a Garrison Commander with this and deal up to 14 damage to the opponent's face in a single turn, only using 2 cards, which is really good, needless to say. Alright, so next up, starting off our 5 costs from Whispers of the Old God, we have Princess Haran. A legendary minion with Battle Cry, trigger a friendly minion's Death Rattle. Oh my god, this is terrible. This is literally worse than the quest nowadays. Now, why? Because we have so many more cards that trigger Death Rattles. Like, even in Goblins vs. Gnomes, it was a spell for 2 mana to trigger all Death Rattles on the field. Prince Haran is just absolute garbage, and I don't really need to say anything else. Alright, Knuckles, Mr. Mean Streets of Gadget Zan. It's Don Hancho's pet. After this attacks a minion, you deal an equal amount to the enemy hero. This actually has really good flavor for Hunter, with them being so good at dealing face damage. We'll put it at the bottom of B tier. This does actually have a whole deck built around it, which is Knuckles Hunter. However, Knuckles Hunter isn't very good. You can get its combo off really early, though. I think like turn 7 or 8 is the earliest you can pull it off if your opponent has 3 minions on board. Getting this off DeathStalker Rexxar's hero power is really, really good. As you can get things with lifesteal, and then, you know, you can get the lifesteal rush guy, and then you heal twice as much, which it's only 8, but also getting a body on board and dealing 4 damage to a minion is pretty cool too. Alright, next up we have Halazi the Lynx, who is a 5-cost minion. Battle Cry: fill your hand with 1 of 1 lynxes that have rush. Buster Comes Rumble, being a terrible expansion, of course has terrible legendaries. This is D tier. We'll put it above Slay. No, we'll put it just at the top of D tier. If I just don't get why the Lynxes have rush, but he doesn't. I feel like if he had rush as well, it would be a lot better. And another thing is, when you play a card like this, it could be nice to play it on curve, but you have to wait until at least turn 6, or else you're gonna throw something away. And most of the time, a card in your deck is better than a 1 of 1 Lynx with rush. So, there we go. Oh boy! Starting off the 6th Legendary with DeathStalker Rexxar. Definitely don't have any bias towards this card at all. But it just deserves S tier. Okay, there's no arguing. It has arguably not the best... Well, no. In my opinion, it has the best Death Knight hero power standalone. Yes, Raza Priest or Anduin's hero power is better in Raza Priest. But creating a custom Zombies that is literally just, what if I took this minion plus this minion and put them together exactly? It's absolutely broken. If DeathStalker Rexxar was this thing, I don't know if any other archetype besides like Face Hunter and an Aggro Beast Hunter would exist. Which, you still put DeathStalker Rexxar into the Aggro Beast Hunter. Now, you don't always put it into a Face Hunter, but you could try. Alright, so coming in for our number, or not our number 6 spot, but at another 6 mana cost, we have Oblivion, who reads Death Rattle. Summon a mech from your hand, trigger its Death Rattle. You could get unlucky and it doesn't have a Death Rattle. And there's just not a lot of mechs that have a really good Death Rattle. I do not think that they should be a legendary minion. But, I couldn't see this being an epic either. Still not D tier or F tier though. It's C tier. It's a thing. If you're playing Mech Hunter, you put it in. Alright, so we have Gazrila, the Goblin versus Gnome boy. Whenever this minion takes damage, double its attack. Sounds pretty good. Well, it only has it has 2 decks you can put this into. You can put this into Recruit Hunter, or Catharina Hunter, or you play it in Gazrila OTK Hunter. This is nothing too special about it. It's a threat. It has good stats. It has nice stats. But even so, it's just pretty mediocre, and Gazrila OTK is just pretty bad. Alright, we got Varanes, a legendary that is absolutely irreplaceable. That's why it's an A tier. It's almost an auto-include in every Hunter deck, unlike Dragonbane and Zixor, which pretty much are. I would say Zixor just is Dragonbane's, like, maybe, and then Varanes is, depends. But he changes the health of all enemy minions to 1. That's like a Paladin effect, but in Hunter, which can be really nice with something like Unleash the Hounds, or Hunter's Mark, or not Hunter's Mark, but something like Explosive Trap that is just guaranteed to clear everything. So Varanes is pretty good. Alright, so next up we have Acid Maw, also from the Grand Tournament. Grand Tournament was actually the first expansion to ever give one class 2 legendaries, and they did that with my favorite class, Hunter, which was pretty cool. However, Acid Maw is absolute garbage. I would personally say he's the worst Hunter legendary. He's a 7 cost, which reads whenever another minion takes damage, destroy it. So the idea was you play Acid Maw and Dreadscale on 10, and you'll clear the board leaving a 4-2 and a 4-1 up. The issue is if there's any Death Rattles, Divine Shields, it's just nothing. And Hunter always wants to be trying to make a push for board. So Acid Maw and Dreadscale have never really seen play, except for maybe when they first came out. Alright, now we have the Journey to Un'Goro legendary Swamp King Dread. Reads, whenever your opponent plays a minion, not summon, but plays a minion, this minion will attack it. Now there are a lot of memes of just playing the 1-2 snail with poison and then this dies. And that did happen a couple times. It's happened a couple times to me. But Swamp King Dread, he's B tier. He's pretty bad, yeah. But again, he can see play in Recruit Hunter. You know, and a 7-1 and 9-9 is just good. You know, if your opponent plays something like Void Lord, or let's say that they're Reno Priest and they play Spawn, they actually have to kill this first, so they might not be able to play Spawn that turn, so you buy yourself an extra turn. But it's mediocre at best. If this was whenever your opponent summons a minion attack it, oh my god, it could be A, maybe even S. Alright, so we have the most disappointing, like, gimmick Hunter card. Rockdalar, the legendary weapon from Kobold and Catacombs. Which reads, Battlecry, if your deck has no minions, fill your hand with Hunter spells. This is D tier. I'll put it above Putricide and Slate. The issue with it is that it's a 7 cost, so you're not really able to play a lot of the spells. Even if you play this on 10, and again if you play this on 7, you're gonna throw something away, and most of the time a random spell isn't as good as the ones that you put in your deck. Just a big disappointment. Alright, so next up we have Beastmaster Flark, who Battlecry summon 4 0-2 Goblin Bombs. This could see play in a more value-based Mech Hunter. The issue is Mech Hunter isn't really value-based. Now, Goblin Bombs, if you don't know, have a Death Rattle. They're pretty much just Sleeper Gnomes. They're 0-2s with a Death Rattle of deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Summoning 4 of them is just not that good of an effect, unfortunately, and it just doesn't put him really make the cut. Because it's in the Mech Hunter section, we'll put him... Yeah, he's definitely worse than Oblivitron. There's just no real point for him. Alright, now a legendary spell. Hunter's only legendary spell, in fact, if you don't count the quests. It's Flark's Boom Zuka. It's a 7 cost. Summon 3 minions from your deck. They attack random enemies, and then die. This is another F tier. Now, Flark's Boom Zuka, it's the fact that you're summoning 3 minions from your deck. Now, this can see play in a Death Rattle Hunter. Most of the time, you're like 3 minions from your deck, unless one of them is Sylvanas, will not all add up to the cost of 7. And then they don't even stay up, they just die. So their Death Rattle better be super effective, like Sylvanas's, but most of the time it's just something like summon a 3-4 or summon a 5-5 or a 4-4 or something, which simply isn't that good. Alright, we have Verity Windrunner, who reads Battlecry equipped Thordai, or Thordal? I don't know, I can't pronounce it. The Star's Fury. So she's a 7-mana 5-6, which is already pretty bad, so the Battlecry better be good, right? Well, not really. It will equip you with a 2/3 weapon that is after your hero attacks. For this turn only, you gain +2 spell damage. This can see play in a Malygos Hunter. However, that's not really a thing anymore. And as well is just the fact that it's a 7 cost. Like, playing this on 7 on an empty board can feel really nice, but you also have to have the hand to back it up. So, for that reason, it's a C cost. It's above Rockdalar, though, generally. You know what, it's even above Halkias. Alright, so for another 7 cost minion, we have Dino Tamer Bran. A battle cry: if your deck has no duplicates, summon King Crush. King Crush, of course, being the classic Hunter Legendary 9/9 charge. So you're basically cheating out King Crush for 2 mana, or, well, cheating him out -2 mana. You summon him for 2 mana less. But you also get a 2/4 along with that. And that's pretty good. That's why he's going in A tier. Definitely a big reason of why Highlander Hunter is a thing is this card. Just because it's so good for finishing off the opponent. And even though it's kind of illegal to do so, you could also make some pretty good trades with it. Alright, we got our Mr. Tri-Class boy, Don Hancho himself of the Grimy Goons. Battle Cry: give a minion in your hand, +5/+5. Now he himself is a 7 mana 5/6. If he was like a 5 mana, like 5/5, or like a 5 mana, even like a 5 mana 2/2, it's just the fact that he's a 7 cost. And it's why he's bottom of C tier. Giving a minion 5/5 is a big boost, but you also gotta know what minion that is. For example, getting it on something like Augmented Porcupine or Mok'Nathal Lion could be really good. However, those decks tend to favor fast play when Don Hancho is a very slow play. So that's why he doesn't see play. Alright, so we got Catharina Winter Wisp. The legendary for Kobolds and Catacombs reads: Battle Cry and Death Rattle, recruit a beast. Recruit, of course, is summon a minion from your deck. So you recruit any beast from your deck. Now there's quite a few Hunter Legendaries as well we've already talked about that would be really good in here. For example, Swamp King Dread, or Gazrila, even Knuckles. And for that, I'll put her right in the middle of B. Her recruit style effect is really good, obviously. If you can brand this, and then, you know, put a couple of playdeads on it, then you've just recruited 4, most of the time, pretty good beasts. And that's all there is to say about Catharina. She's really solid. Beastmaster Leo Rocks. From Ash of the Veltland, an 8 cost 5/5 battle cry, summon 3 beasts from your hand. Now, one of the biggest issues with Beastmaster Leo Rocks is it is far, far, far too slow. Even if this was like 7 mana, I don't think it would still see any play. Actually, no. No, I think if he was 7 mana, then he could actually see a lot of play. Because, for example, if you had like a big beast thing going on, and you had Gazrila and Swamp King Dread, and, I don't know, let's say Ultra Sword for the memes in your hand, and you play this on 7, you're getting quite a bunch of shit out. But he's an 8 cost, which means you have to wait an extra turn. You are probably going to play your Swamp King Dread or your Gazrila, then it just feels bad. The real question is, the power scaling on this actually got lower. And what I mean by that, if you remember, there's a warrior legendary called the Boom Ship, which is from the Boomsday Project, of course, which is summon 3 minions, so they don't need to be a beast, 3 minions from your hand, just like Beastmaster Leo Rocks, but for 1 mana you give all 3 of them Rush. Which is way better. Now, obviously, though, you could argue that Beastmaster Leo Rocks is a minion, while the Boom Ship is a spell. But the Boom Ship is just so much better just because of the Rush, and because it's not a slow play, it's a play for board. So, Beastmaster Leo Rocks, he's a C tier. Alright, King Crush, classic Hunter Legendary, simply reads Charge. He's an 8/8 for 9 mana that can attack immediately. he's just okay. Just slap him in B tier. Simple. You can use him in the Beastmaster and King Crush OTK. However, you have to get 3 of them, with them all being at least 10 mana. Then there can't be any taunts on the board. But then also, if there's any taunts on the board, it doesn't matter how stacked they are, unless they're 15, I guess. Which is possible with Scavenger's Ingenuity and Double Scrap Shot, but most of the time, you're dead if your crushes are that high. Not the worst original Legendary, for sure. That would probably go to Alakir. But he's not too good either. You know what? We're actually going to move him down a tier. Sorry, boy. Alright, so we have Emerus from the Witchwood. Battlecry, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. This effect is great and worth 10 mana. The issue is most of the time in today's meta, when you are in a game that makes it to turn 10, you don't just want an 8-8. I feel like Emerus could have Taunt, and that wouldn't be too strong or anything. So I think if you just gave this guy Taunt, he could actually see quite a bit of play. You know, no stat change is necessary. Just a 10 mana 8-8 with Taunt that does its insanely powerful battle cry. Maybe it's too strong now that I think about it. Make that Taunt. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, because of the amount of plays he sees, we put him at the top of D or at the bottom of C. Actually, it would probably be above Beastmaster if he was in C. Okay, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Boom. Zul'jin, another Hunter Hero card, so you know I'm all over that. With Battle Cry, repeat all spells you've cast this game, targets chosen randomly. Just like with Shudderwalk, when you play something with targets chosen randomly, you're never really playing it with targets chosen randomly because of what they read. You can play this with Nagrand Slam, Secrets, Call of the Wild, or the Spellstone, Emerald Spellstone, and you don't have to worry about any of those hitting your minions. You could play this in Spell-only Hunter, and then have like a fun Yogg-style effect. That also gives you 5 armor and a better hero power. So this is the other S tier card for sure. Zul'jin and DeathStalker Rexxar are the only inherently stupidly broken cards. That in Wild anyway. But that is the tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. See ya!